Welcome, welcome to another episode of Starseed Activations. So we just want to welcome Jody Powers. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Always, always. So today we are going to start ever so gently with an Om. Now, what an Om does is, and you guys can do this at home on your own, what that does is it opens and expands your heart chakra system. Hold on one second. What is this? I think Instagram froze. Hold on one second, guys.
Okay.
Okay, we restarted Instagram.
All right, perfect.
Hey, let's do it. Okay, so we're going to start with an Om. Now, what an Om does is it opens and expands your heart chakra. It allows the emotion of love to wash over your entire body. It's a frequency. And so it also activates different type of brainwave patternings, which allow each and every one of us watching to come into a sort of energetic resonance with each other, which then in turn allows us to raise our frequencies as an entire group. When we do this, it really puts us more in alignment with the star people so that their message to us is held in the highest light with pure love. Excellent, dear ones. So ever so gently, take a deep breath in. And one more deep breath in. Excellent, dear ones. And we wish to send each of you happy, happy holidays.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being here, Teresa, Tarek, and Elle, and the rest of the star people.
The rest of the star people. Thank you, dear star people, for this channeling tonight. Thank you so incredibly much for bringing forward the information that the people need to hear for their own ascension and evolutionary journeys.
Yes. And happy Easter, everyone. Mary Jean is here, Scott is here, Nancy Hadley is here, and April Storm Paper Studio is here already, and Michael is here. So if you guys have any questions today, this is kind of a pop-up, and we'll answer your questions. The star people will answer your questions, and we'll start a discussion. But first, let's talk about Easter and what is going on in the atmosphere right now.
So what I notice in my reality is I notice a day in which it's very similar to like trials and tribulations. Things are coming up for us to walk through an experience and for us to really observe our thoughts, feelings, and emotions around that experience. Now, 2 days ago on Friday, we have to take a look at what the sun does throughout this whole process of Easter. The sun goes down, and then we do recognize that the sun, the night and the light, so the daytime, the nighttime, is 100% equal during this process. And so it's basically going from the winter months and stepping into the summer months. So, and this is the reason why, I had no idea, this is the reason why the star people have been telling us the entire past week, you guys have to release. You have to release because we're letting go of winter. We're stepping out of hibernation. We are coming into spring. Spring brings us new life. It brings us new energies. The flowers start blooming. Our frequencies shift. Now, there is a process where we start diving into the body and we start to shift which lens system that our energetics flow out of. And this is happening on the civilization grid. And so when we start to recognize, okay, this is what we see in the outer worlds. Now, what changes can we make on the inside to run with the energy that we are seeing. Now, many times the star people will tell us the energy always comes from within and it radiates out. That is 100% true. However, since we're still at an early age of our development, and some of us, many of us, most of us are not able to go into like the civilization ring and like snap your fingers and bring it from winter to summer instantaneously. That means that we are able to work with what we see. These are called our external circumstances. Anything that is outside of the body that you're noticing that frequency of, we could take the frequency and then we could run with it. Use it to make changes.
Okay. So it's interesting that you're saying that you've noticed this in your experience in the past week. And I got a message, I put it up on Instagram too, that the message was triggers, tests, and trust. And of course, you know that I always get my messages with the TTT and alliteration. So triggers, I noticed not only myself being triggered, and I was like, oh, okay, I need this trigger, and not like a trigger before where it used to like push me back.
Yes.
Like viscerally, I would just be held in a trauma response for a while. But a trigger like, ooh, I'm feeling X, Y, and Z for some reason, whatever that is. I'm feeling sad, left out. I'm feeling any of those negative things. And then you have to make a decision how you handle that, right? Yes. So then there's the test. And I was like, I didn't think of this trigger and all I have to do is get through it. Now I'm like, okay, this is a trigger and it is a test.
Yes.
Is this the final time I'm going to get rid of this?
That's the question. Is this the last time it's happening? And so I always look for the metaphysical signs and signals. And so sometimes the death of an animal means a rebirth, because when one life ends, new is going to come. That is how the entire reality works. So I don't like when things die. Nobody does. Right. But when I see it, especially when it's like a goose or a duck, any type of bird, then I know from my own experiences, seeing one of those pass away means I've broken a cycle. Yeah. And then it means that that cycle is done and I could move forward. And the thing about, you know, life in general and the simulation, the world we live in, is we go through so many different cycles. So just when we raised our consciousness into the next brick, we healed all this, and now we've taken a step into the next brick of consciousness. It's okay, there's a whole new criteria for things that we have to learn. So it's another aspect of ourself that requires a healing. And so we're not done. And then even when we get up to say 4 and 5D, which is amazing, but still, you're still going to have things that need to be focused on. Yeah.
That's not going to stop, is it?
No. Well, it doesn't stop. And you're going to go up at least 11. 11 is your higher self. So it pretty much, it incorporates a higher self into the body. But then moreover, after we go through all these different density levels and dimensions, then we shift into the next octave, where the physics change and it's basically a multiverse. This is infinite to infinity and beyond. That's
to infinity and beyond. Right.
Yeah. So we're never done with a game. The game is the illusion. The real thing is until
we exit completely. We're going to continue shedding, continuing experiencing.
Yes. Go through all these different experiences, even level up to 5D, level up to source frequency, and then you become a celestial being. And then it's like starting from scratch, because then once you're a celestial, you're a baby celestial. Right. So, but we do this enough until our consciousness is like, I know that this is a game, and then how do I pull myself out of the game? There's the real question.
Right. How can you be in the game and out of the game? So the thing that I put on this Instagram post, it says, this season, remember what your goals are. Are they in tune with your future and your future self? Remember that during this time of timeline jumping, Every decision matters. Choose based on your higher self.
Yes.
And then I put hashtag hopping into 5D. Just for some, and that's where I was at, thinking, I don't know if that's going to make sense to anyone else, but that's a message for me. And it will also come back up in my memories. Like, this is what I was working on last year. Not think about the decisions, am I going to do this or that or whatever? I want to make the same decisions that my future self would look back and be like, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. So, and that's a whole process of imagination. When we can go through any situation, any experience, and really you just try and imagine, okay, what would my highest passion and my highest version of myself, how would that person make, what choices would they make? What would they do? How would they speak? How would they eat? Would they go to the gym? If I had the most amount of energy, the best friends, the best this and that, the stuff that made me the happiest. It doesn't have to be the best of the best as in the worldview. It just has to be the best thing for me as an individual. Yeah. When you start to summon that highest person, that's just you start to imagine that you are that person. And then in turn, you'll look back in 6 months and you've become that person because you just copied all the behavior patterns.
Yeah.
Yes. It's beautiful.
Yes. So, and then when you said it's a new year, new birth, somebody said Happy New Year. Mary Jean said Happy New Year. And it does feel like in Easter, it's more of a new year.
Yes,
than
it does.
January 1st.
It's for new life.
Thank you,
It's
Mary
a
Jean.
new cycle we're starting. So if you take a look at a human life, it starts at birth. The plants and the trees and all the stuff, it starts to grow now in the spring. Yeah. So it totally makes sense that as a human being, I would relate the spring to new year because this is when the cycle is starting anew. Right? We do it. It's I think it's a little wrong to have it in January. I think it's totally wrong, because when the plants start growing, that's when it's new. Otherwise, you're in like a form of hibernation.
Yeah. I wonder if that new year kind of came about to give people back in the day, like a time to celebrate and be like, okay, we're halfway through.
That's what I was thinking.
It's really a new year, but like we're halfway through.
Part of my human mind questions. It's like, well, maybe they threw a holiday in every single month. This way,
So smart.
you can get through. But there is actually a sacred geometry behind many, if not all, of the holidays. There's always a reason behind it. So if you take a look at numerology starts to show the zodiac imprint inside of our binary codex frequencies. So when we're born with a particular energy. That energy resonates different attunements to numbers, different locations. There's a whole lot of information that goes in. It's all sacred geometry, but it's built on mathematic sequences. Now, when we start to recognize this, it allows us to really open and expand these different topics. This is where the numerology comes in, the zodiac comes in. The zodiac needs to be changed because at one point we had another planet up there. And then that planet was disintegrated and now it's an asteroid belt. So that has to be taken into consideration. Now, there has to be older text somewhere on the planet which gives you the entire zodiac. But then there's other planets that we are unable to see. So some of those planets are giving off, like, who knows, gamma radiation. It's giving off frequencies that can still potentially affect our manifestations. So when we start to do bigger, when we start to do bigger or group manifestations, it's the external circumstances, like doing full moon rituals. People, we know we already do this. That's an external circumstance. But the energy that we are receiving, every single full moon is different, just as an explanation. But we can also use the sun. The sun can help us manifest. On certain days, I personally can feel the solar energetics being higher. So my life seems to go faster. That shows us how the sun is affecting our consciousness.
Yeah. I have a question for you or for the star people or both about getting neutrinos from outside, from the sun, from the moon, and asking how does that work exactly, the neutrinos? And how is that different from ions? Because I know that you've talked about ions before, and that's really important.
One is based in a Fibonacci spiral, which is more of the feminine energetic systems. And one is based in the masculine system, which is your phi ratio. Excellent, dear ones. Okay. So if one is feminine and one is masculine, then we could observe that one of them probably affects your chi energetic systems, which gives a different type of energy. So we recognize that there's multiple types of energy systems on the planet, and the multiple types of systems allows us to perceive different frequencies and yet still have electricity, is what they're saying. That
Okay.
makes sense. So that's how we want to take a look
bit.
at these two systems.
Okay, a little bit. And it does make sense that one is masculine, one is feminine. We need both. And they didn't give too complicated an answer, so I could understand. So that was perfect. Maybe some other people could have understood
Yes.
something more complicated. But
Thank you, star people, for channeling with us today.
honestly, thank you so much for the answer. April says, I noticed a need to shed this negative energy hiding in me and to clean up my mind and shed extra weight. Yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah.
And a Facebook user, I don't see the name, make decisions that my future self will be proud of.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's hard because you have to get out of your ego, out of your mind, out of your worry and everything, and able to be able to touch that higher self or even imagine it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's a whole process of releasing that has to go along with this as well. And when you release, you're really, it's like allowing your higher self to guide you. So releasing, it comes in many different forms. It's not only releasing physical items. The physical items energetically are totally connected to us. So when we release, what we're doing is we're releasing a piece of energy from our field. Now, when we notice like shifts coming up for us, that is when we want to release the most. So this is also the time for diving into shadow work. Different types of breath work can also trigger emotions to be automatically released from the body. There's many different things that we are able to do.
I got another message this week from my guides, probably the star people, because I'm bringing it up right now, that if we don't, they didn't put it this way, but essentially the message was, if we don't release now, we will wish we had.
Yes. And, you know, this is a great
And I was like,
topic
okay.
because I announced yesterday or the
Yeah.
day before. No, I did it yesterday. And I
Yeah.
told everyone I will be stepping back from all technology for a week, at least until the eclipse comes. And then we'll see. Now, what I really meant was like my cell phones. Of course, we have to check the emails, right? And to check for sessions and things of that nature. But, and we will be doing the lives. But other than that, like answering messages, it takes time. And then even my regular everyday cell phone text messages, it all is time consuming. And they want me to personally release the technology because when we recognize that even the technology, it starts to become an addictive pattern. You have to pick it up, you have to hold it. There's no off on the weekends anymore because it's a piece of technology. It goes with you everywhere. So that's what I'm going to be focused on. Now, last month, for the entire month of March, I've also been focused on walking. And so doing different creek walks. You guys see, I send photos out. And then mountain hikes, right? I do that for an hour. I did it this morning. But just to try and be a tiny bit more active. I do see half of a comment that's, well, like you said, it was weight loss. And so it's an emotion code because I personally have gone through a roller coaster with weight loss and it's like up and down, up and down. But it is, you have to change your emotions. So once again, releasing resistance comes into that. You have to be okay with whatever you look like. And then you have to be happy with whatever you look like. And then you have to shift your focus and stop worrying about the weight and focus on something else and laugh as much as you can. When you do those things, it generally starts to shift the energy in your system, which allows you to manifest it much quicker.
Mm.
Yes.
And all of these things, these strategies that the star people teach us, the natural consequence of doing those things is they're telling me it builds on happiness. And it's built on happiness and it builds happiness, is what they just said.
Yes. Well,
So
we know your body's going to feel better if you spend more time outdoors, right?
Yeah.
You get the vitamin D from the sun. The vitamin D actually reduces pain. There's a lot that the sun does for us. It makes us feel good. Yeah, it heals us of so many things. If you're eating very clean food, so for example, like vegetables, not any pesticides sprayed on top of them, but if
Yeah.
you're eating very, very clean, then your body actually takes the sunshine and it makes you a lot healthier. So and then a lot of people online have reported that they don't get sunburnt because they're eating clean food with no chemicals. Yeah.
Interesting. So we were outside and we took the dogs out and went up to the local mountain, Mount Tom. And there's like this beautiful clearing on top. And we just sat in the sun and let the sun, like it, I could feel ions or neutrinos or like whatever was healing me. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, you
Do you
can feel
do that
it.
when you're out walking? Sit and just let
Yes.
the sun?
Yes. And
And
there's an old saying on this planet that the men who live up the mountains and have to climb the mountain to carry the water, they're usually the healthiest. And that's because wherever we see mountains and water, that spring where the water comes up from the earth, you're going to notice a vortex energetic coming up, which is a high frequency. It starts to heal your energetic systems. But then there's also ozone that comes down and it goes hand in hand with one another. And so that ozone, people are now doing research on ozone therapy, and they're doing different types of breath work with the ozone and healing from it. So that's another thing that we could be doing that. Now, I don't think you can actually breathe it directly. They might do it on their skin. I'm not quite sure. But I do know you could take the ozone and bubble it through a type of oil and then cook with the oil, like avocado oil. And then you're still getting the health benefits from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they've done so much research on people who live near the water are so much healthier. But if we say, listen, I don't live near the ocean, I live near a river and I live near a mountain, right? So if I go to those places more,
Yes.
then I can make use of that instead of sitting here and complaining, well, I don't live near the ocean or I don't live on a lake. I can go to those places at least easily.
Yes. And we should, because anytime you're in nature, I mean, when you're around your streets and your houses, you're seeing all the concrete, everything looks put together. It doesn't look like you're in nature. And so you're seeing boxes and squares. That's a geometry. So we're getting a frequency by seeing boxes and squares. Now, when we live in circles generates a vortex energetic. So being in nature is more circular. This is how your vision sees it as well, because the trees, you could tell there's a type of circular growth pattern to them, right? Everything looks random. It's not all in straight lines, as well as growing our food. We're not supposed to grow the food in straight lines. That's not the way nature was designed. Nature goes in circles. So when we start to come back into a more feminine energetic system on the planet, we will start to embody more circles in all things. You may notice the old archaeology on the planet as well. The star people are saying some of the houses had steeples that were circles and went up to a point. And that was because they were trying to harness the vortex energetic systems, as well as the free energetic systems.
as well as the free energetic systems.
Yes.
Oh, she teases us sometimes, that Teresa drops right with some golden nuggets. Thank you. All right. So Carlotta, I hope I'm saying this right. Carlotta says, it's true what you say about weight and appearance. You have to love yourself no matter what you are. I also had the yo-yo weight going on when I would gain weight. It was because I was depressed. Yeah.
Yes.
What's in
It's
our
an emotion
mind?
code.
Yeah. And you're depressed, you feel heavy, and then you feel heavy, you get heavy. When you get heavy, yeah, it's like the cycle.
Well,
like,
what is exercise doing? Think about it. You're
Mm.
changing the way your body feels. Everything
Mm.
starts with an emotion code. It must. Your emotions control your energetic systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, lovely. And so Mary Jean says, I don't get sunburned either, and I sit in the sun all day. I used to get sunburned. Now I call in the Christ light to protect me. Can we talk about the Christ light? Thank you for saying that, Mary Jean. It's Easter, Christ consciousness, Christ light. What do the star people have to say about Christ consciousness?
The Christ consciousness means that every single individual in your world is going to be holding a higher frequency, which shall then start to resonate into all human beings. And then, when a certain amount of individuals have gone through a grand awakening process, it shall fully allow for unity consciousness to become manifest on your planet, allowing all people to become one in your mental grids, as well as plants and animals.
And we are doing this now, Teresa. So thank you so much for coming through. And really, it gives me hope whenever she says things like that.
Yes. Well, because we need to hear it. That's the whole purpose of going through ascension. We're not supposed to, yay me, I'm going to ascend. And this is why my motto has always been, you guys have heard me say it like 100 times, right? Together we rise, because together we activate unity consciousness so that the entire planet rises.
Yeah.
That's
and we're stronger together.
Yes.
In general, it's not just stronger together, like some rah cheerleading motivation technique. It's so much more than that. The messages that I'm getting and you confirmed is we need to be doing things in group, meditating as groups.
Yes.
How does that exactly work? Why is it stronger as a group?
Because we're synchronizing all of our heart frequencies. So the more people come into an attunement with each other, it is then going to allow for more of that source frequency to resonate out into your physical reality. This then is going to start the process of bringing a higher frequency, which generally means more love and light to that location. As well as any location, each one of the individuals are energetically casting forward. And we summon that question at this moment because we are about to start a group meditation, dear ones. We wish for each of you to come into a quiet space so that we may do world peace manifestations, as well as individualized healings. And we can reorganize any energetics in the human consciousness grids that need the density removed. Beautiful. And we thank you so much, Jody Powers. Please join us for this meditation if you are available. If not, that's okay too. Each person here, please take a deep breath in and release with a We are now grounding the human consciousness grids into each one of your hearts, allowing for a stronger connection of your desire for world peace to come. Any darkness that is watching this video, you are currently being blocked, and that's okay too. we will still send you many love and blessings. We are now activating a bright white light coming down your crown chakra, fully radiating into your heart center. We allow the emotion of unconditional love to flow through your biological form, allowing you to become beacons of light on your planet. Any densities, any distortions in the human consciousness grid, stopping the full manifestation of ascent, we are now ever so gently removing. We are casting a bright green light into each heart here, as well as an activator, so that this green light will touch any other individual's hearts that you come into a 10-foot proximity with. Any densities, any distortions inside your crystalline DNA subsystems is now being removed. We are now grounding each and every one of you deeper into Mother Earth's crystalline core, allowing for two-way telepathic communication between the star people and each of you. We wish for you to visualize something you really love. Allow that unconditional love to wash over your complete body. We are also activating each of your genetic systems to allow your highest passions to be known. You may now start to take steps a little more easier in achieving your highest passions. You may feel a light sensation in your ears. And we are recalibrating your telepathic abilities to allow for smoother communications amongst yourselves. Allow this bright white light to fully surround your bodies. In your heart and mind, dear ones, please know that we are assisting to the best of our ability. Recalibration complete. And we are sending each of you many, many love and blessings, dear ones. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much, Teresa, and the star people, and for Elle bringing that through. That was very powerful.
Star people. Yes.
I'd love to hear in the comments any visions or sensations that people got, because I got some serious ones. I got little angel wings, or like feet. Do you know how that, like, they make they'll put like angel wings on a pair of high top sneakers or something like that? I got those instead of ears. So cute. And then on my throat chakra too, the little angel things. Michael says groups are like a vortex. Yep. Mary Jean says 333, and thank you, star people. Tears and goosebumps nonstop.
Beautiful.
So beautiful. Yeah. Wow. So
thank
powerful.
you, star people, for helping us to manifest world peace for every person on the planet.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing for every single one of us. Activation of extrasensory abilities, and more importantly, world peace for every person. Yes.
And it feels like those extrasensory abilities, mine at least, the gifts that I've been given by the star people and everything, have been reassuring me that it's going to be okay and to keep praying. So again, there's that circle, there's that cycle, like work on being happy, and then you're going to build more happiness, you know, if you are, anyway. Beautiful.
Well, that's exactly how it is. So
Yeah.
the more and more you could focus on just being happy and staying and doing right moves and changes for you. So if your body is giving you a sign or a signal, hey, you're ingesting something and I'm not in alignment with it, cut it loose, let it go, because it's
Right.
not serving your highest and best. You can hold on, you can struggle all you'd like, but there's always a backlash from the body if you're doing something that's not in alignment. That's how the body works. It's how the reality works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your body tells you.
Yes. It's just the most important two-way communication we can have is between our consciousness and the body, because we need to feel good in order to do our maximum work on the planet, which isn't real work. It should be joy and
Yeah.
bliss.
Yeah. And it's really nice that it's both. It's
Yes,
simultaneous, you know?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Carlotta says, I just feel my heart slowing down and becoming peaceful. I saw a few purple sparkles.
Yes.
And then April says, thank you, star people, exclamation mark.
Thank you, star people. Yes. That was real interesting that there was someone dark watching. Like,
Right?
yeah, I was like, wow. Well, they sensed it. So they know.
That is what we will send you, love and light,
Yes.
or
All
pray
of
for you,
us.
or whatever
We
they said.
all send you
Yeah.
many love and blessings, because anyone who is holding or still experiencing darkness, they really just need more love to come back to be happy.
Yeah.
Right? Because
It doesn't
darkness,
mean we're the ones that have to stay with them, but yeah.
no. But we
And
send
help
love
them.
and blessings from our hearts, is what we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Mary Jean says someone left.
Of course they did.
Okay. They got
We love
the
you.
message.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this week has been very, very powerful. And I anticipate next week being powerful too. I mean, just seeing the star people come in and they're like, oh, Jody, we activated that, or we summoned that question so that
Yeah.
we can start leading a group meditation. You
Yeah.
know, it's like things are ramping up in a very beautiful way. And we just need to take care of ourselves. And by taking care of ourselves, it spreads out and keeping
Radiates immediately too, because when you take care of yourself, you feel better. You touch the people around you very differently. Very differently. Yeah.
Yeah, and she said that too. Like everyone, what did she say? Everyone that you come in contact within 10 feet, everyone that you come in contact
Oh, okay.
within
Yeah,
10 feet,
everyone.
you will touch with this green light of love.
Yes. This is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Magical.
and it works like we're all amplifiers for that type of frequency. So
Yeah.
even as you're walking amongst your day and you know that they've just activated this type of green light frequency into your field, you could just
Yeah.
imagine sending it ever so gently to any of the people around you. So if you're driving, let's say you're on a highway, you could just imagine taking that green light. You don't have to use your hands. You could do it all in your mind, and just imagine sending it or coating all of the cars and the people with it. It's an energy. We just send it, and then the universe takes it and gives it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. We just have to think about it. So when we did the meditation on Wednesday night, and I had some people in my house, then you had Sunshine come on afterwards, that meditation,
Yeah.
it felt so powerful having the group there and present at that time.
Yes.
So I feel like April, Mary Jean, like everybody who is here right now, it's so powerful. Is it more powerful now than if we watch the replay, or will it be the same frequency all the way out?
It's the same frequency all the way out, because energy does not hold the time and space boundaries. So it floats above time and space. Energy is ever fluid, ever changing, but different meditations, when we set things into the meditation, it acts like a manifestation. So, and it's the same, it works the same way with the crystals. If you tell the crystal to do something or hold something like a frequency or an emotion code, that crystal is then going to resonate that frequency or emotion code. Well, when you do a type of meditation and you activate different frequencies into your field, and we do it on a group level, it's amplified. But that frequency, then it's also amplified for all the people who join or rewatch later. And so if you go, let's say you go a week or two and you feel like you need to do it again, just re-listen to the video. It works throughout time and space.
Mary Jean just said that. She goes, awesome. Anytime I feel off, I'll watch it again. That came up just as you're saying that. And I know you can't see the comments either.
Yeah.
So how cool is that?
So funny.
So cool. And it's
Yes.
444.
Beautiful. We are going to end right now because it's 4.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just want to say happy holidays to each and every one of you guys. Thank you so incredibly much, Jody Powers, for coming and having these types of conversations with us. It's
My
beautiful
pleasure.
to always have you. Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you for having me, honestly, and this group.
Definitely. And we just want to say thank you, dear star people, for coming forward and for gifting us this beautiful channeling on this holiday. It's a holiday. And
a holiday.
Oh, they're all giggling. Thank you guys for channeling with us tonight. And thank you for bringing joy and happiness and bliss to all the people watching. And so we love you guys, and we send you all many love and blessings.
Good night.
Bye.